Okay. Assalamu alaikum. আমার নাম হলো সাম। এখানে আমি বাংলা শিখছি। Um, কেমন আছেন? Let's শিখ some Bangla today together. So a very warm welcome back to episode 3, entry 3 into my Bangla diary. How are you guys doing today? You can expect more awkward introductions like that, of me starting off confident Bangla, and then sort of just things just falling apart into all over the place mixture of Bangla and English. But what can you do? So, what are we going to talk about today? So, this week's been really busy, and there's actually a couple of things that I forgot to mention in the previous entry to my Bangla diary. The first thing that I'm going to say, just because it's on my mind, is a big difference between learning Arabic versus learning Bangla. Because in Arabic, when you learn the script, like I'm massively concerned with the Bangla script at the moment, because to be honest, when I read this book of mine, this book that I'm learning from at the moment, like, I don't really think it's Bangla. Like, when I look in here, and when I look at some of the dialogues, and like, and when I look at, the transliteration of it, apni ki rana kurchen, like, that's not Bangla. Like, Bangla is with the correct script. So, like, I find it really difficult with this book unless I'm actually reading the Bangla script. So, before I want to read books and stuff, I want to learn the script. I just like doing things that way. Like, even in my teaching of Arabic, before we learn any grammar or anything, I'm like, look, just learn the script properly. Because we're just building on, like, oddly inaccurate transliterations. And so as I was saying, like, a big difference in learning Arabic and learning Bangla is, like, in Arabic, there's very clear distinctions between all of the letters. Very clear distinctions. Like, even letters that sound similar, like the and the, right? It's a clear distinction. It's like one of them is sort of full mouth, the, and one of them isn't, the, right? And, like, even, like, with ta and te, there's a clear distinction between all of the letters. In Bangla, I'm finding that really hard. Like, there's a few different, like words that, like, sounds rather, that would be expressed with a T in English, but one of them is like a T, like sileti, like a T sound like that. Another one is like a Tu, like in tumi, and there's another one with like sort of a H sound after it, like in tomar bari kotai, Thai, like a Thai with a H after it. But all of them can really be expressed with a T. And even, like, there's some that I'm still confused about. There's a few different ones for, like, a sh sound. There's one when you said it, Ami Bangla Shikchi, there's a sh at the beginning, which is like a little upside down love heart type deal. One like that. And then there's another one in another word that I saw that looks different to that. But they're all like, but there is a difference between them. There is a difference. They have different letters in the Bangla script, but in English they can be represented really similarly. So I'm finding that really challenging, right? We'll get there. Even like the B as well. There's like a B at the beginning of the word Bangla, which is like a triangle. It's like a sideways triangle pointing up, right? With no dot. With a dot, it's a R sound, I think. But without the dot, it's a B, just like a B, like we have in English. But then there's also like a B, like in the word bai, like a brother, right? It's kind of like this, and then there's a little squiggle under it, type thing. So like, I'm still really focusing on the script. Like, the script is a lot of what I'm doing at the moment. And then, so I'm learning the script for writing, and then something that's massively underrated for this course is the audio resources that come with it. Like, really, the audio resources should be the course, and the book should be a bonus. It shouldn't be presented like the book is the course and the audio resources are the bonus. It should be the other way around, which is why I think it's crazy that it's free. I'm going to put a link in the description for you guys, by the way, if you just want to get hold of the audio and just listen to the audio because it's free. That's the bit they give away for free, which seems like the bit that's higher production value, more costly to the publishers, and is better, in my opinion. So maybe that's just part of my learning style as well. I just kind of like listening. Like, shout out to Michel Thomas. He was like one of the first kind of languages teachers, and it's actually a big inspiration to me. Like, I first started learning Spanish from the Michel Thomas cassettes, and literally cassettes, by the way. Like, that's pretty ghetto. A lot of you guys who were born like after the year 2000, maybe you guys don't know what cassettes are, but yeah, us 90s kids, we know what they are. And I remember learning from those, listening to those, and even the guys at arabicpod.net, they're a big inspiration to me as well. I remember when I used to do my paper round when I was like 13, and I was trying to learn Arabic from their podcast. Yeah, they're a big inspiration to me, those kinds of things. Like, even in my creation of my resources going forward, inshallah, for like Arabic and Somali. And if we ever do stuff to help people learn Bangla, which I'd love to one day, if I'm ever qualified in any sense to like teach a basic stuff, whatever, then I'd really like to do that kind of stuff. But anyway, So what have I learned this week? So I spent some time with my kids actually, like trying to bring them on the journey with me a little bit more. Like my kids aren't Bengali, like they're half Somali. Their mum is Somali, and obviously I'm English. And but regardless of that, like I like to kind of bring my kids with an understanding of that we are all Muslims, and all of the languages of the Muslims are valid and are like worthy of learning, and they all bring value to your life in some way or another. And it doesn't have to be tied to like you wanting to be one of them or something like that for you to learn their language, or for you to be pretending to be one of them. It's not that. It's just you're happy with who you are and your identity. You're just interested in another culture, another literature and stuff. And that's a practice that us Muslims should uphold. And even, how Allah says in the Quran, when in Surah Al-Hujurat, where Allah says, إِنَّا خَلَقْنَاكُم مِّن ذَكَرٍ وَأُنثَى وَجَعَلْنَاكُم شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا. That we've created you many different tribes and nations so that you may come to know one another. We're just doing a bit of ta'arafu here on this channel and with my kids. So there's actually a video on TikTok. You can see me trying to get my kids to say, "Tumar tablet kotai," like where's your tablet? To my son Yusuf, he's 5. He's got a tablet for doing his Quran and stuff, right? So me and my kids, and even Yunus, my youngest Yunus, is there with the book, and I think I say, "Tumi Bangla." I tried to say Sheikh, but then I realised I know how to say I, Sheikh Chi. I don't know how to say you, but I think it's Sheikh Chen or something like that. Maybe you guys can correct me in the comment section below. So, cool. Another thing, I want to thank you guys on the TikTok as well for following as well, because we're over 900 followers now. So any of you guys who are watching this here, please go over to TikTok and follow, because when we get to 1,000, we can do like live stuff on TikTok. You can't go live, I don't think, until you've got 1,000 followers. So once we've got 1,000 followers on TikTok, we can do more live. Like we can do, in the evenings when I'm sat at my kitchen table doing Bangla, we can stream it live and we can do some Bangla lessons live together. So that'd be really cool. Cool. And then, this week I kind of had to spend a bit of time learning on the bus because I actually had a car accident last week. I was stopped. I was driving here in London, and big Ford Transit van just plowed into the back of me, and I've been needing to have physio. So I've been having to get the bus into central London once a week to go to physio. And so I've been using the time on the bus, because it's like an hour into central London from me. So I've been using that time on the bus to listen to the audios from the colloquial Bengali series, as well as some of the phrases that are in the Lingua Boost podcast as well. So that's really cool. And then also I did try to get into learning from flashcards. Like loads of my students on my Arabic programs and stuff, they use flashcards. I've never really been into them, right? But I tried them out again. Since I haven't really tried using flashcards since I was at uni, but and I still hate them. So I'm not won over by flashcards. But I sat in Starbucks for a while writing out some words, learnt a few new words. Lok, which must mean like a person, but I think there's a connotation of it being a man though, with lok. Because when I look it up, like in dictionaries and stuff, it has other synonyms of person, like a gentleman or a lad or a bloke or a geezer is even one of them, which is quite funny. So is lok, does it mean like a male, or can it be used for a woman? And another word that I learned is bhodrolok. 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 I don't quite know the right pronunciation. Bhodrolok means a gentleman. So say, I'm a gentleman. Ami bhodrolok. You can just say, I, gentleman. Which is kind of like in Arabic, how you can just say like, you don't need the word for is in there. There is a word for is in Bangla, hulu. Hence, like at the beginning where I said, Amar nam hulu, Sam. I don't know if I can just say Amar nam Sam. Maybe I can just say that. I don't know. But I've heard on the Lingua Boost podcast them always say hulu to mean is. So maybe, I don't know if it's optional. I don't know. Cool. So I sat in Starbucks for a little while just making flashcards and just to see if it would work for me, and it doesn't really. But I learned a couple of new words for it. Cool. And that's probably my favourite word actually so far. Bhodrolok. Because I think the word bhodro means polite. Or I don't know if it's actually the whole thing. If bhodro means polite, or if just the bhodr means polite. But I also got the opportunity to learn about a little squiggle that comes under words to mean there's a ra after it. Because usually in the Bangla script there's like an inherent kind of O sound. When you read the Bangla alphabet, you'll say like ko, cho, sho, whatever, right? And even in the reading of Bangla, it's like that. If there's no vowel or anything, you can usually assume it's just an O sound. Or that's the impression I get anyway. Like in the word kotai, meaning where, there's just a ko sound, but there's no like vowel, I don't think, off the top of my head. But that would be the kind of thing, even if it is, I can't quite remember off the top of my head, but that's the kind of thing that it would be like in Bangla. Yeah, and then another thing, just as a, not really Bangla related, but obviously we had Eid as well, so Eid Mubarak, all of you guys. I'd really like you guys to share any like Eid phrases that you guys have in Bangla. That'd be really cool, because each kind of community and culture has their own kind of things they say to each other on Eid day. Or if you just use Arabic, typical kind of, تقبل الله منا ومنكم Eid Mubarak, stuff like that. If you use those, then, or if you use something specific in Bengali, please let me know in the comments below. That'd be really cool if you guys could share some good Eid phrases with me. And use the Bangla script as well. All of you guys who use the Bangla script in my TikTok comments and stuff, I want to thank you all so much. Like, I appreciate it so much when you go out of your way to actually write in the Bangla script, because it helps me with the pronunciation of it, of what you're actually saying, and it's just a bit more authentic. So I really like it, and I appreciate you guys when you do that. And then the last thing that we're going to say for this episode of my Bangla diary is that the Sam Martin Burr website is now live. So we have a Sam Martin Burr TikTok, Sam Martin Burr Instagram, Sam Martin Burr YouTube channel here. We are planning on doing a Sam Martin Burr podcast, but I haven't recorded the introduction episode to that yet, but we will do that hopefully today, actually. And then also there's sammartinburr.com. So if you want to be involved in anything that we're doing, you can just go to sammartinburr.com, and there's all my information on like the Arabic stuff I've put out there, the Somali stuff I've put out there, and then also like stuff that we're doing for Bangla as well, to encourage and help other people learn Bangla as well. So anything you want to be involved in, sammartinburr.com. As usual, all links will be in the description section below. Thank you so much for joining me for week 3 of my Bangla diary and checking on how it's all going. Hopefully next week we'll have more Bangla phrases for you, and there will be a longer time period between when we start off confident Bangla, and we'll be able to maintain confident Bangla for longer before I descend into code switching mess of poor grammar, and we end up just being all in English. So see you guys next week. Or maybe there'll be a surprise video throughout the week as well if we do anything else. So see you guys then. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.